Hello, you guys. It is Miss Jacobs. I am here today to teach you our new lesson on perimeter, area, and volume. So before we get started, make sure you write your table of contents. The date is 2/12, and our title is going to be, we're just going to title it P, A, and V for perimeter, area, and volume. And that should be on about page 129. So go ahead and pause the video so that everybody can get that logged in to their table of contents, and unpause when you're back. All right, so once you've got your page out in front of you, we are going to be working on it together. So here I have my page. I'm going to make it big for us like it's our actual math journal. Okay, so our task today is to find the perimeter and the area of each of these grocery store items. So the following products were purchased online and are being measured to see if they will fit inside a shipping box. We're going to use the dimensions provided in the diagrams to determine each type of measurement. We need to show our work, and we're going to label the units. So the first diagram we're going to be working with is the apple and fruit box, okay? So our first task, it says to find the area of the base. So before we get started on anything, whenever we see our like square units, cubic units, or if it literally says area, perimeter, or volume, we are going to write down the formula for whatever it asks. So in this case, we are finding the formula for area, which we know is length times width, okay? So we've got our length times width written. Now I'm going to label on my diagram what I want my length, my width to be, okay? So remember, it's asking for the area of the base. So when I'm dealing with the base of an object, I actually don't need anything with the height. I just need the two bottom measurements. So I'm gonna label the 8 inches, let's have that be our length, and our width is going to be 2. So now we are going to plug and chug. I'm going to plug in my 8, oopsies, for my L, and I'm going to plug in my 2 for my W. And all I'm going to do is 8 times 2, which I know is 16. And that is going to be my area of the base. But I need to make sure I'm using proper units. So it's going to be in inches squared, since area is always in square units. So my area of my base, 16 inches squared. All right, now we are going to move on to the perimeter of the front face. Now when it says front face, what it's asking about is the face that is showing the most of it. So in this case, the face is actually all of this big, wide, rectangular portion, okay? So we need to find the perimeter of that front face first, okay? So once again, whenever we are given a unit of measurement, or if it literally says perimeter or area, we are going to write down our formula. So let's start by writing the formula for perimeter, which in this case, since we're using a rectangle, our bestie gives us this formula of P equals 2L plus 2W, which just means 2 times length plus 2 times W. And now, technically, my length and my width might have changed a little bit, because the width earlier was for the base. My perimeter of the front face actually has a different width. It's actually going to be this 10 instead, because this 10 is this side as well. So to find the perimeter of this whole shape right here, we would need to use the 10 and the 8 as our length and our width. So it kind of changed a little. So now all I'm going to do is I'm going to plug and chug. I'm going to do 2 times 8 plus 2 times my 10. And as always, we're going to do one step at a time. So let's start with 2 times 8, which is 16. I'm going to rewrite my entire expression. And my next step would technically be 2 times 10, because we always start with multiplication before we do division. So 2 times 10 is going to be 20. We rewrite our entire expression, and now we finally add 16 plus 20 to get 36 inches. Now I'm going to leave it as inches because when we find perimeter, those inches are just plain. Those units are the same that we used from the problem. We did not square or cube them. Okay, now is the fun part. We are going to find the volume of this shape. So now we can just use all of those units from our carton as they are. I'm going to label that 8 as our length again, that 2 is our width, and that 10 is going to be our height this time instead of our width. We're going to write down our formula. Volume equals, volume equals length times width times height. And I'm going to plug everything in. I've got 8 times 2 times 10. I'm going to go left to right. 8 times 2 is 16. I'm going to rewrite that 10. And then I'm going to solve 16 times 10, which is 160. So our volume of that carton is 160 cubic inches. So far, so good. If you need to pause or rewind, this is the best time to do so. Okay, now we're going to move on to finding the area of the base of the juice carton. So let's take a look at our values for the juice carton. I see that the bottom 2 measurements are 2 and 3 inches. So for the area of the base, I want the length to be 2 and the width to be 3. So I'm going to write the A equals length times width formula. And I'm just going to plug and chug. Here we go. 2 times 3 is my plug. Now I'm going to chug it out. 2 times 3 is 6. So my area of this base is just 6 square inches. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. So now comes the fun part, that perimeter of the front face. That's where our measurements change a little, okay? So in this front face, it's actually this, it's this part right here, okay? It's our 2-inch side that's right on the edge here. That's our front, okay? So what I'm going to do is label that 2 as length, and I know that this length is 5, this length is 5. That means this length must also be 5. And I'm going to label that side 5 and W. So I've covered all my bases. Then from there, I write my formula of P equals 2 times L plus 2 times W. And then I'm going to plug and chug. So I'm going to write 2 times 2 for length plus 2 times 5 for width. And I'm going to solve left to right. 2 times 2 is first. We get 4. I'm going to rewrite my equation, and I'm going to solve the next multiplication. I've got 2 times 5, which is 10. I add all my values, and I would get 14 inches as my perimeter. Notice how here is just plain old inches, not square inches, not cubic inches, because perimeter is always just the plain unit. All right, now my favorite, the volume. Let's start by writing our volume formula, length times width times height. And I'm going to go make sure that I've relabeled everything so I know what length is, what my width is, and what my height is. Okay, and then I'm going to go back in and plug and chug. I got 2 times 3 times 5. Okay, are you with me? Here we go. 2 times 3 is 6. I rewrite my equation. And I've got 6 times 5, which is 30 cubic inches because we solved for volume that time. Alrighty, So you and your group are going to do this on the back page. So flip over your page, meet me on this page, okay? You and your group are going to finish the rest of this page here. You're going to all solve the diagram of the tissue box and the soap together. And you also need to solve this question with the box to see if all of those things will be able to fit in the box, okay? I am going to have you guys do that for the next 10 minutes. And when 10 minutes have passed, you are going to glue in your page. When you glue in your page, you are going to glue it in at this top area. So right above on the back side, you're going to put your glue there. And then what you're going to do is you're going to flip your page sideways like we normally do. And we are going to, let me draw it. We're going to fold it up and glue it in like we normally do. So we're just folding it in half and gluing it from there. Capiche? Caposh. Alrighty, guys. Have a great mini lesson and go work on your math stations after those 10 minutes have passed. Best of luck to you.